At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right, we're having all kinds of issues this morning. Hang on just a second. First, YouTube would not open, and now Facebook on my desktop not trying to open. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's a me problem. We're gonna start. I'm not able to share this on Facebook, so if you guys want to hop over to, I don't know, Razorback Sports Talk on Facebook or Razorback Nation, whatever, and share the stream, that'd be awesome. But right now, I'm just unable to pull it up. I'm not really sure what's going on. I just keep getting, sorry, we're not going to load that page for you. Maybe it's a Google Chrome thing. I don't know. Facebook down. People in, well, okay, great. Wonderful. Well, we're just going to do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans? SEC fans, welcome. I apologize. I know there's going to be a lot of you who come through later, and you're going to be like, whoa, I didn't see the stream. I didn't get a notification because YouTube sucks, and I didn't see that you posted this on Facebook. Can I open up Facebook on my phone? Because sometimes it's different. Sometimes the desktop works and the app doesn't work. And then sometimes, kind of vice versa. It's working for me on my phone. What's going on? It sure is slow, though. Ooh. It's like not loading at all on my app, on my phone. You guys do anything else? Are you having the same problem? Pull up your Facebook. If you're near you're probably watching the stream on Facebook. Or on your phone, I mean. Well, it just is what it is. We're going to take a hit on the Monday show. That's fine. Hopefully we can get Facebook up and rolling here. Yeah, Facebook's down. The app now is not working. Everything, is it anonymous? Are they hacking Facebook and YouTube? Because now I can't get anything. I have no Facebook right now. It's down. Facebook is out. So we don't have Facebook, so we're not going to have that crowd in here today. But again, I'm sure people will pop in later. Same thing with YouTube. YouTube took a minute. YouTube would not load. I had everything up and ready to go at 11, and it just wouldn't connect to my OBS, to the online broadcast software. All right. So I apologize. It's like I have everything together on my end for once, and then everyone else decides to take a shit on me. All right. Yo, hey, Tyzilla. What's up, Celtics for life? Dylan Sharp. Hopefully there are not any nitwits today who are still overreacting about losing to the national champions. I mean, what clarifies as overreacting, though? If you take issue with what you saw, you should have every... I mean, I'm not going to tell them to shut up. I'm not going to tell someone... Now, if you come out and you say, like, fire Kendall Bryles, rabble. We had some good stuff. Our Discord on Saturday, it never fails. If it just becomes kind of it gets kind of ugly in there sometimes. Not real bad, not any worse than you would see on message boards. It's just the way it is when you lose. But then you have people that want to, fire Kendall Bryles, or maybe Sam Pittman is exactly who we thought he was. I didn't see that in our Discord. I actually saw that on Twitter, but that individual deleted the tweet later. So, Saturday was a letdown, without a doubt. We're gonna try our best and get it clarified. Like what went wrong? I mean, obviously the other team put up a whole bunch of points. Arkansas didn't score, but what inside the numbers? Kind of what did we see? What was really happening? Right now, Ole Miss, I don't know what to think of this. They have ESPN's Football Power Index has them favored at almost 67%. The line started out at 3 points. Now the spread is growing. Now it's at 6.5. So Ole Miss favored to win this thing, possibly by a single score. The over/under sitting at 66. Ole Miss coming off a 42-21 loss to Alabama. Make no mistake about it. They scored late in that game. Alabama had this thing won. I think it was 42-0? I know it was 42-7. I mean, they just took a giant dump all over Ole Miss. And then Ole Miss decided, we're going to play offense now that Alabama's playing prevent, and they're subbing out their 2s and 3s on the depth chart. And then they racked up a whole bunch of yards, and they looked the part at that point in time. I'm going to say this. I do think Georgia's the best team in the country. I don't think Alabama's number one as it stands based on what we've seen. I think Arkansas is a better opponent than Ole Miss. We're going to see how they both respond this week. We're going to see what they look like. We're going to talk about that throughout the week, Wednesday's show and Friday's show, and today a little bit. Remember, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I call it the semi-daily show. semi-daily show. Why not? And we do the post-game shows as well. If you're new here, holla. Hit the subscribe button if you're new and share the content. Again, I apologize for people who are used to seeing this link on Facebook. I can't reach a pretty good portion of the audience today because Facebook, again, decided to take a shit. Let's see what it does. Facebook.com. Oh, nope, still not loading. Well, that sucks. But I don't know. Did notifications go out? How'd they do? Georgia over Bama, says Kelly Marie. I agree. Got to clean up the penalties. I agree. Carson Moreto, hey, Ty, upset about the loss, but Georgia is elite in all caps. At least we are, not Missouri or Texas A&M. What do you make of Texas A&M right now? Because I really don't know. I don't know what to make of Texas A&M. Mississippi State. I mean, what the hell's going on in the SEC this year? I don't even know. I got notified by YouTube. Well, that's good. Looks like notifications kind of went out. Remember, if you're already subscribed, that's not enough to get the notifications. Even though you know I'm live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11, make sure you hit that bell because apparently that's like an extra step to making sure you get a notification. A&M worst team in the West? ? I think you can make that debate. Boy, how do you feel about that contract now, A&M fans? How do you feel about that extension to Jimbo Fisher? Not very good. All right, again, shout out to all you guys in chat. I appreciate you for being here. I'm going to try my best to interact with you. It'll probably be easier today because we don't have everybody because obviously we're unable to share on Facebook at the moment. But it's going to be a little bit easier to keep up with chat today. But I'll do my best to read your comments and interact with you guys. We have a Discord question as well. We have a new top 25. Duh. We'll go over that really quick. I don't have it pulled up. AP top 25. I mean, we know, where they're at. You know where Arkansas is at, but we'll kind of go over the gist of it here. Let's do that. Well, actually, first, of course, to the sponsors that are helping make all this possible. Direct Service Overhead. You guys look them up. I got their link in the description box. They will replace and or repair your garage door. They do good work, highly rated. You can check out their link if you have any questions. They operate both out of Central Arkansas. I know I've got a lot of you down there that watch, and up here in Northwest Arkansas, they operate over a good portion of the state. So yeah, if you want to hit them up, get an estimate, or at least talk to them about what they could do for you. You can their website will have their phone number and other ways to contact them. Travis Ford and those guys, they're good people. Travis has helped me through a lot. He's helped me through, just being able to talk back and forth about what we're going to do as sponsorship and some other stuff too. He's good people, man. I mean, look, we're all Arkansans here, or most of us are, right? They're good people. Most Arkansans are good people, but Travis is a good dude. State Apparel. These guys, they sell the softest shirts in the state of Arkansas. Also, well, actually, they sell the softest shirts you'll find anywhere, but they're made right here in the state of Arkansas. You guys, I'm a big fan of supporting local business. It's why I'm only doing, I've got ads. YouTube's going to run their ads. I am a monetized channel, so I do monetize all my videos, but I also have no control over who they put as advertisements when you guys are watching this show later, right? For those of you who aren't here live. But I want my direct sponsors of the PTN to be local, or at least within the region, but especially in the state of Arkansas. And that's why I'm happy about this partnership that I have with both Direct Service Overhead and State Apparel. Again, these guys, they make all their stuff right here in Arkansas. You can find their inventory over at stateapparel.me. You can find the link in our Discord and in the description box. If you use the all caps Ty Rocks, if you want to buy anything, that's an additional 10% off. They have a store in downtown Benton. If you want to see what they really have in stock, you can go to their store in downtown Benton. They sell known clothing brands as like Native and Southern Marsh as well. So, again, check out both these fine sponsors of the PTN down below in the description box. So the Discord question, and we have a super chat. The only coach we need to reconsider is Scott Fountain. He has not turned it around. Special teams is costing us big time. Georgia is elite. We're still a good team, says Mr. T-Dub. Yeah. I could go on and on about special teams. Granted, they weren't the only problem. They weren't. They weren't by themselves. They weren't by themselves. It was a team effort to be that bad. And also Georgia is elite, like you guys have said over and over. I'll sit here and tell you that is probably, I think they're the best team in the country. You walked into a hornet's nest. If you don't think they were sick and damn tired of hearing about the Arkansas Cinderella story of the SEC, you're crazy. You know that's what Kirby Smart's been prepping these guys for all week. Hey, all this talk is about them. Are you kidding me? We're better. We're far better, and we're going to prove it on game day, and that is exactly what they did. I hate that Arkansas stunk it up on game day. I hate it. But I don't think there's very many teams that would have gone into Athens that day and done much better. I really don't. And we're going to get to the AP Top 25 here in a minute. I don't have a problem with it. I think the coaches poll might end up being the most accurate. Coaches poll's kind of been lagging behind, and we were all a little skeptical, including myself, like, now wait a minute. Hold on. They handled business against Texas. They beat Texas A&M. Regardless of what you think of A&M, that's a respectable opponent. Turns out they may not be. We'll see. We'll see when the dust settles at the end of the year where they stand. Right now, it's not looking too good for A&M fans. Oh, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it because, Arkansas kicks their ass and everything else most of the time. Should kick their ass this year in basketball, although they could be better this year than they were a year ago. Baseball. Like, I love it because they just – A&M fans shit talk more than anybody. Arkansas fans are look, man, Arkansas Twitter has a reputation for a reason. But A&M fans, it's like – it's that way. I feel like it's that way on and off social media for the majority of their fan base. And I know a few A&M fans around here. In fact, my oldest daughter's first softball coach, her first year of machine pitch, the diehard, her and her husband are A&M fans. And they're good people. They're really nice. But they'll tell you last year, they weren't wrong. Last year they felt like they could beat anybody. If things go their way, they could have won the national title a year ago. And they may not be far from the truth a year ago, but nobody was beating Bama. But even before that, like most, like Jimbo is the second coming or something down there. And they buy into the extension. But regardless of what you think, I thought the AP was correct. But now I'm starting to believe the coaches poll might be the more accurate depiction of where at least Arkansas is. The AP Top 25. Right now, Alabama 1, Georgia 2. Look, you can't argue with that. Like, it's Alabama, man. Until Georgia does something similar to what Alabama has done over the last however long Saban's been at Alabama, until they are a national title team a couple of times, they're not going to be given the benefit of the doubt like Alabama is under these circumstances. Iowa at 3 at 5-0. Penn State, I just don't know if Penn State – they struggled against Auburn, and I kind of thought Auburn was going to go in there and pull the upset. I'm just not really surprised that – I'm not surprised they're 5-0. I just don't know that I buy that they're top 5. Cincinnati, I got to admit I was wrong. I think Mark Rogers, I can't remember if we were recording this or not. Maybe we were. I said, why the hell is Cincinnati ranked in the top 8? I wouldn't have a problem with them being in the top 15. Why are they in the top 8? Why are they in front of Notre Dame and Arkansas? Well, now we know. They're undefeated. They're 4-0. Oklahoma at 5-0 at number 6 in the country. Don't know that I'm buying that. Oklahoma has not looked like a top 10 team. Their quarterback does not look like a Heisman to me. Ohio State at 4-1. 4-1, 7th in the country. Oregon, 8th in the country at 4-1. Michigan at 5-0. Look at the Big Ten. 3 teams right there. 4 teams. Iowa. Big Ten's representing. And I've said before, like, if there's another conference that's going to compete with the SEC, even though I don't think they're on the same, like, I think the SEC is still pretty high up. If there's a conference that's going to compete, it's the Big Ten, and they're competing. They're playing pretty good football. Oregon out of the pack at 4-1. BYU undefeated 5-0, number 10. Michigan State, another Big Ten, 5-0, 11th in the country. Oklahoma State has been a little bit of a surprise. Who have they beaten? You really think they're 12th in the country at 5-0? Like, I get it. Like, Notre Dame fell to Cincy, but they're 4-1. Arkansas, I don't think they should be in front of Arkansas, but I don't know that Arkansas should be 13th. I would probably put, like, Oklahoma State at 20th and Arkansas, like, at 19th. Coastal Carolina at 5-0. Notre Dame was at 14th. Coastal Carolina at 15th. Kentucky at 16th. Ole Miss, who you play next week, 3-1, 17th in the country, coming off that shellacking against Alabama. Auburn at 18th, 4-1. I don't know what to make of Auburn either. I really don't. Wake Forest 5-0, 19th. Florida 20th. Texas at 4-1, 21st in the country. Arizona State 22nd. NC State, whose only loss is to Mississippi State, by the way. They beat Clemson. They're 4-1. They're 23rd in the country. SMU at 24th, and San Diego State at 25th. Other teams receiving votes: Clemson and Texas A&M, Oregon State, who's been a little bit of a surprise for the pack. Baylor at 24 votes, Mississippi State at 18. Texas Tech is in the mix. They're back there floating around the top 30. That's a team that Texas beat the crap out of. So A&M drops, Clemson drops out of the top 25. The coaches poll has Arkansas. I don't have the coaches poll up. Let me find it real quick. Coaches poll top 25. Top 25 this week. Top 25. Coaches poll. All right, here we go. Alabama 1, Georgia 2, Iowa 3, Penn State 4, Oklahoma. They've got Oklahoma at 5th, Cincinnati 6, Ohio State 7th. Why? I don't know. Michigan 8th, Oregon 9th, BYU 10th, Michigan State 11th. They have Oklahoma State at 12th. I don't understand that. Notre Dame 13th, Kentucky 14th. Kentucky at 5-0. Coastal Carolina 5-0, 15th. Arkansas at 16th. Ole Miss right behind them at 17th. I don't have a problem with them being right there. I think they're in there somewhere in the top 20. Auburn at 19th. They do have Clemson at 3-2 in the top 25. Boy, I don't know. It makes you wonder, do these people, do they look at their body of work or not? Texas at 23rd, Southern Miss they're also ranked in the top 25 on the coaches poll, and Arizona at 25th. We kind of skimmed over that. Florida's behind Ole Miss at 18th. So, we are a top 15 team. Definitely got some things to clean up. We just need to play a clean, disciplined game. Shore up the fumbles. They're not fumbling the ball a lot. Now they are putting it on the ground, if that's what you're talking about. They are fumbling, but they're not. It's mostly Malik Hornsby. And they're not losing fumbles. In fact, have they lost a fumble this year? I don't know if they have. I have that actually jotted down where they're at in the country in terms of turnover. Bring on Mississippi. Work, lunch, PTN, the life, says Hoyt. I appreciate that, man. Good morning, though, to you. If OU plays like they have for 5 weeks, Texas stands a good chance. Red River shootout coming up, man. Man, that dude's got butterfingers. He does. You're not wrong, Eagle. He does. He turns the ball over or fumbles the ball too much. Just too much. And it's mostly him. And it's not like, I mean, he's put the ball on the ground, 3 times this year? And I think one of those was on a bad snap, if I remember right. Love him, but dang, bro. I'm telling you, it's this week is huge for Arkansas and Ole Miss. Whoever loses, I think, starts to lose all their momentum. Tough when you lose 2 in a row. It can be, and I agree with that. It's being mentally prepared after both these teams sustained pretty heavy losses, all right? Again, you got to ignore that score. If you watch the Alabama-Ole Miss game, Alabama completely dominated them in a similar fashion, not Georgia, I think, is a more complete defense. Alabama might have the advantage on offense. That could make for a good SEC championship. If these two teams stay healthy, there's no doubt that's who I have in the SEC championship. I don't remember. Is that what I had at the beginning of the year? I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. But if these two stay healthy, continue to do what they've done. Look, Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, probably the two best in the business. I would argue maybe in all of college football recently. I mean, Dabo Swinney finally kind of having that year where everything caught up to him. Bama doesn't have very many of those. And Georgia, when they do, they're going to be the best in the East. Alabama was up 35-0 at one point. Yeah. That A&M win is starting to look less impressive. No, but the Texas win still looks pretty damn good. Ole Miss got garbage points. They did. That's how they got their points. They got all their points in the most of their points in the fourth quarter. Ty, PU, say it PU. Oh, okay. Yeah. Look, when you're here in front of the camera behind a mic, I can't pick up on just words, right? Like I just have to do the best I can, especially when you're trying to decipher chat. Kelly Marie says Florida fans thought they were going to beat Georgia after our game. They've shut up after theirs. You love to see it. You love to see it. Sam Pittman doesn't know what to do about the penalties. So, where is Arkansas at in terms of penalties? Let's talk about this. You're not going bowling. Well, you might go bowling. Maybe it's going to be, it's not going to be the greatest bowl. It's going to be Texas Bowl or Liberty or whatever. Is that still the AutoZone Bowl? Isn't that when we played Eastern Carolina? Didn't we play them in there, or is that Kansas State? I get those games mixed up. You're going to love going to a bowl game because a lot of people did not, and that includes Hog fans, did not have Arkansas going to a bowl this year. I don't know how many 4-8s, 5-7s I saw, but I saw quite a few. And I thought that was really just, fans that have been skeptical. Maybe they thought the COVID year was exactly what Arkansas was. Those 3 wins, I say, loosely, were exactly who Arkansas was. But I don't think you realize that they were in on 6 of those games. Should have won at least 5 of those 6. Should have won 5 of the 10. And again, the only for sure losses were Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. Those are your 3 for sure losses. I mean, yeah, of course you look at how some of those games unfolded. LSU, you were completely devastated with injuries and COVID. You had guys playing with broken ribs and just shouldn't have been playing, and some of them will probably tell you that now. They'll probably admit, yeah, bumper pull, would probably admit I shouldn't have played. Played with broken ribs and led the country in tackles for 4 weeks out of the 10 weeks in the SEC last year. I mean, every conference played a different amount of games, but that's still unbelievable. That's unbelievable with sore ribs, which 90% of those guys are probably playing with. But that's unbelievable. So maybe sore ribs isn't the right analogy or comparison, but broken ribs, that's insane. And we wonder, what the hell happened in the second half of the season? COVID and injuries. Not being able to develop the back end of your depth chart because you didn't have spring camp, because you had a completely interrupted offseason thanks to stupidity and COVID. And the rest is kind of – they should have had spring. I don't care. They should have had spring camp. They should have had it. If that's just all there is to it. I think those kids will tell you that. The coaching staff will tell you that. I don't think – well, other than the Pac and the Big Ten, I think every conference in the South would have admitted, yeah, okay, we definitely should have had spring camp. But it held them back. And this year you hope that is you hope the turnaround happens. And as far as the second half of the season, being able to put a complete product on the field on a consistent basis, they weren't able to do that this week. That was not – look, you have to give Georgia all the credit in the world. You got to give those fans. You got to give that stadium, the noise, the game day atmosphere. But I think the spotlight was just too big for Arkansas. But the penalties absolutely destroyed any chance of this team making any kind of gaining any kind of momentum. You had two false starts on the opening drive, back-to-back flags. You had 3 flags on a single play on defense. I have never seen that. I've seen 2. It's usually like a hold, like a defensive back getting a hold, and I don't know, a late hit on the quarterback, something like that. I've never seen 3 flags. It's unbelievable to me that this is where we're at. They're averaging. They have through 5 games 49 penalties for 416 yards, 83 yards per game on average, nearly 10 flags per game. I've never seen it this bad. Sam Pittman says he takes more of a nice guy approach. I don't know. Maybe you don't do that anymore. I don't know. Look, I know what I had to go through if I committed a penalty in junior high or high school. Hell, 7th grade football. Through what did we go through? The youth center? We were the Fayetteville Packers, and we were terrible. But if we got a penalty that following Monday, if I remember right, we played Saturday mornings, I think. That following Monday, you were doing up-down drills. And I'm not saying Sam Pittman's not disciplining those guys. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing to correct the issue, and this is terrible. Averaging close to 10 penalties a game. You had how many against Georgia? Was it 13? 13 penalties for 101 yards, and that's not even the most yards. That's not even the most yards they've been penalized for this year. Was it Rice? They had 110 yards of penalties or 105, something. I mean, guys, do I think they could have scored if they cut those in half? I think it's a possibility. Should have kicked a field goal late in the game. My man Tim was telling me about that. He's right. At that point in time, I was in here getting ready. I didn't get to see the last couple of plays. But they should have at least tried to put some points on the board. That goose egg's just disgusting. It's gross to look at. Not that 37-3 is much better, but there's nothing more demoralizing as a team to look up and to see goose eggs, to see 0-0 on the scoreboard. That's gross. But the penalties are bad, and I am going to say that Arkansas's done a good job of not letting penalties like overcoming the penalties. They've done a pretty good job of that. Like, yeah, all right, we were penalized 40 times today, but hey, our defense kept us in it, and our offense finally got it all figured out. You go back to that Rice game in the second half, like, it's just bad. And I truly don't know what else. I truly don't know what else you can do or what he's not doing, but whatever it is, you need to start to explore. You need to explore other ideas during the week to clean up these penalties because they are bad. Who's ready to see Bo Nix get sacked like 6 or 7 times? Nix gets chased down and tackled by that 350-pounder a few times. You'll stop running. Had a lot of Georgia fans comment on the last postgame show. I've never had that many opposing fans come back, and they've been mostly positive. In fact, I would argue they've been like all positive, talking about how much they love Sam Pittman, how much Arkansas is truly not that bad. We know that, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. And we appreciate that. That's cool. Surprised at how many Georgia fans have come back and commented on these videos. And I cannot pronounce your name. I think it's Lick. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to. You know who you are. As a Georgia fan, I'm skeptical about our cornerbacks and safeties. Not a lot of teams have tried to expose them, and I'm honestly waiting for someone to expose them, but our front 7 won't let anyone expose them. Right. Yeah, you're the game against South Carolina definitely, as I watched that Thursday night, I watched some of it. They were able to kind of stretch the back end of Georgia's defense out. But I just, as long as they're getting consistent pressure, they're creating havoc in the backfield. No one plays clean, 100% great football week to week, but Georgia is as close as it gets. Now, Clemson, offensively, I think Clemson at the time probably one of the best. They really are. They're a top 10 caliber defense, and they played great. Oh, by the way, I really feel like Arkansas can beat Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I appreciate that. Yeah, most Georgia fans that have come through have been like that. I think we've only had one that was kind of like, all right, bro. Have to be more disciplined team when you aren't the more talented. Very true. Very true, Tusky. Ole Miss gets a pissed off Hog team. I think Ole Miss is going to be mad too, though. I wouldn't, and they're going to be the home team. And this is a big game. This is a payback game. We embarrassed this elite, quote-unquote, offense last year. We embarrassed Matt Corral. Maybe they do it again. Maybe Odom is the kryptonite to Ole Miss. I don't know. We'll talk about it on Friday. Arkansas just got overwhelmed, plain and simple. Also doesn't hurt that Georgia's an NFL team. Yeah, it probably helps if they have, like, I don't know, probably 7 first-round draft picks for the next two for 2022 and 2023's NFL draft. I bet they have, like, 7 first-round picks. They're just stacked, man. That's just all there is to it. Kiffin gonna Kiffin, though. Well, maybe. To be honest, that noon crowd was insane. Someone in chat earlier said that was the loudest game they've ever been to. And I thought, we talked about last Monday, I thought it was like 80,000, 85,000. It's actually 95,000, and they sounded every bit of it. That was the loudest. I will say, and like I told you guys last week, I have my volume set. When I watch football, I've got a volume set on the subs, on my speakers. I've only ever had to turn that down once, and that was the Fayetteville game. I didn't have to do that for Georgia. But then again, I don't know. Maybe they were boosting the signal a little bit. I don't know. I mean, there's all these variables when you're broadcasting a game. But that was a loud. I don't know how that had to be. That had to be insane to be down on the field. It's that much louder when you're on the field. Pittman has the class to not let the offense score at the end. Georgia earned the shutout. After our mistakes, we do not deserve to have points, so he made sure that we didn't score. He will use that. Oh, well, I mean, that maybe. But I know, again, as someone who played team sports, that's pretty demoralizing. I guess you can use that as, hey, look, you didn't score any points. Get your shit figured out. I could see that being something. I don't know, but it's demoralizing, man. There's nothing more. It doesn't matter if you're playing the best team in the country or the worst team in the country, home, away, neutral site. That's demoralizing. Maybe he uses that as an advantage. I hope so. Get him pissed off. I'm all for it if that was the purpose behind that. All right, I get it. All right. But at the same time, it kind of makes you second guess what you can do. And it really does. Nothing more demoralizing than seeing the goose eggs on the scoreboard. And a part of me wishes they had kicked the points, but I'm not going to argue that they didn't deserve the points. They didn't. They did not deserve the points. If we face Bama right now and we had JT Daniels, it would be competitive. If we get our stars that are injured, we can definitely win against them. I think you could beat them right now with Stetson Bennett. I really do. Like I was blown away, but watching them and going back and watching the Vanderbilt game, watching the South Carolina game, watched a good chunk of the Clemson game. That is some of the best defensive football I have ever seen. It looked like Alabama back in the day when defense was clearly the focus. Line of scrimmage play, which it still is. Line of scrimmage play is still the focus for Kirby and Nick Saban. But like when it was run the ball, beat the hell out of you with our run game, with our physicality, our thickness on the line of scrimmage, our talent, and then we're just going to smother you with some of the best defensive football you've ever seen. That's what Georgia looked like. I think the way they played Saturday, they could have beat Bama with Stetson Bennett. Now, Bama's going to be a tougher challenge by far. I mean, they do have more talent. On the field, I think they have more talent than Bama when you look at recruiting rankings, but not by far. Not by far. It's like Georgia's right on the cusp of their heels, man. They're right behind Alabama with talent on a sheet of paper. Roster from top to bottom, one of the most talented teams in the country. Alabama is just, they're Alabama. They do what they do. But, I think JT Daniels, I think you for sure win. But, I don't know. Stetson Bennett's looked pretty good. He didn't have to throw against Arkansas. The dominance was happening at the on the line of scrimmage, without a doubt. Stetson was making a statement. He's not happy about being the number 2. His ability to run makes it much harder for defenses. Kentucky will get it completely exposed by Georgia. Yeah. I am impressed with Kentucky. I really am. They are playing some sound football. I feel like Stoops is their version of Houston Nutt. Like they're patient with him. They didn't run him off, and he's not got the most talented roster. He doesn't have all the speed in the world. Kind of like what Tim Tebow said about Arkansas not having speed. And I still disagree with that. That wasn't an issue of speed. That was just an issue of just talent and all the things that I mentioned earlier. Like I think the environment, the stars, the lights were just too big for Arkansas. To know how to win consistently and play well consistently, Arkansas's not there yet. They're just not. Atmosphere was too big. Yeah, exactly. Lights too bright. Exactly. I don't know what Kopetsky said because it got deleted. Oh, Georgia versus Kentucky is going to be interesting. I'll say it's going to be interesting, but right now I think I'd take Georgia by 3 scores. I mean, Kentucky's defense, they're playing pretty sound football. They're playing well, and they're well coached. You never know what a team can do as long as you're well coached. The players are bought in. I mean, this isn't a new staff, obviously. I mean, these guys know what the expectations are, and Kentucky's going to try and exceed them. And they could be the little man syndrome in the East this year. They could surprise some people. They already have. Georgia by 20 over Bama, I'm telling you. I think it'll at least be a good game. But the way they played Saturday, I would take them with Stetson Bennett by at least a couple of scores. I just thought they just played unbelievable. This year's Bama and Georgia feels like 2011 LSU and Bama. Oh, that's a real good comparison. All right. Looking at the positive side, right? There is not much. There's not much. But in terms of what Arkansas has accomplished this year and kind of where they're still at, listen, they're still top 25 in the country in total turnover margin. They're doing a good job, even though Malik Hornsby's putting the damn ball on the field too much. He's putting the ball too often on the turf. Needs to quit that. But they're still top 25 in total turnover margin. It's been a minute since we could say that. They were for a little while last year, I guess. Hogs going into week 6 with the second fewest passing yards allowed per game. Now, looks can be slightly deceiving. Georgia did not feel as though they had to throw the ball with a backup quarterback in Stetson Bennett. But on the year, Arkansas, 70 attempts or 133 completions on the year. 649 yards, 1 touchdown given up through the air all season with only 129, just south of 130 yards allowed per game through the air. That's going to be an issue for Ole Miss. But I agree that a lot of this is because you've not played an elite quarterback yet. Now, I said what I said about Stetson, but he didn't have to throw the ball. I think if they really were forced to throw the ball, they would have some success. I think they might have been pretty – I don't know. I mean, he's done really well. His best game came against UAB, if I remember right. It was UAB where he put up just Donkey Kong numbers. Threw the ball I think he was 10 of 12 for 290 yards or something. But the secondary, and I've said all along, that's where I feel the most confident about is the linebackers, especially since Henry's been so reliable this year. But depth, you just still don't know behind those guys. But in the secondary, you just feel really confident about where they're at and where they're going. I do think they are I think they're I would put them in the top 4 secondary in the SEC right now, not just going off the stat sheet, just based off what we have seen. They're not afraid to drop everybody back. They're not afraid to not, with the kind of timely blitzing that Odom likes to use. He's real methodical with the way he blitzes, but he's not afraid to leave his corners man-to-man on an island. He'll do it with Hudson Clark. We saw him do that last week. They'll dare you to run the ball, and they've been really good about stopping that this year for the most part, or at least decent at it. Not against Georgia. Georgia said, all right, we're going to take exactly what you give us, and that's what they did. But, again, 130 yards per game. That's not bad through 5 games. Looking at the body of work, yeah, we know, again, why Georgia, they didn't feel like they had to throw, but the body of work says, all right, Arkansas secondary right now has looked really good. Arkansas top 25 in the country for tackles for loss. They're averaging around 7 tackles for loss per game. That puts them right out in front of the middle of the pack. They're right at about 6th in the SEC. Bumper pull slid back a little bit. He's 14th in the country in total tackles, but that's still impressive. Arkansas's 12th in the country on third down percentage. That's good enough to be 2nd in the SEC. I think Alabama third down defense is like – now I was looking at several different stats last night and this morning. I might be getting them mixed up, but they're like 45th on third down percentage on defense. That's not very good. Not for a team that wants to play for a national title. That's an area they definitely – I'm sure Saban will admit they got to work on. All right. I'm not going to talk about it, all right? Arkansas with the 9th overall defense in the country. 9th in total defense, according to NCAA.com/stats. So if you want to check out their stat sheet and see what all's going on, that's where you can go. I've all year until Georgia, I felt like Arkansas's defense mirrored exactly how they looked. I mean, when you think about it, Georgia, that opening week, you completely shut down their star. The guy they thought might lead their team, even though JT Daniels, they're kind of waiting on him. Shut him down, forced them to go to Stetson Bennett, and then they just had nothing for the kid. They had nothing for Stetson Bennett. He roasted them for 200-plus yards and just a little more. I think he played a little bit in the second quarter, if I remember right, against Arkansas. They just didn't have anything for him. But then you fast forward to the next week, they kind of showed the blueprint to the rest of the league how to stop Mississippi State. I hope that's not just what happened for Georgia and Arkansas. I hope Georgia just didn't lay the blueprint for everybody else. But here's the thing. You're not playing another defense like this. And like I said Saturday, how the hell do you simulate what they saw on defense against Georgia? How do you simulate for that? No one else is going to come. Bama might get there because they've got the studs, they've got the star power, they've got the depth, they've got the quality depth because we all know that matters. We all know the quality depth matters. Bama has quality depth. But Georgia, on the surface, what we've seen, they clearly far and away look like the best defense in the country. Number 1 third down defense in the country. Or at least somewhere in there, top 3, considering who they've played. It's been pretty outstanding. You're not going to see that again this year. And, well, there's some stud defenses, and I'm not even going to tell you. But I don't think that this is. You shouldn't see this yardage from Arkansas like what they did again. Completely just stopped, right? Stopped in their tracks. You're not going to see that again. I'll stand by it. You're not having this level of total yardage by Arkansas again this year. That's not happening. 29 attempts on the ground, 75 yards. You average just south of 3 yards per carry. 87 yards through the air. That's not happening again. You're not playing another team like Georgia again. So the question really is, Georgia held up a mirror to Arkansas and said, here you go. Here's what you are. And we had the tools to show you exactly your deficiencies. Fix them. That's what, and I feel like that's probably what Kirby Smart said to Sam Pittman after the game. Like, look, man, I love you. You were great here. The fans love you. The players, your former players love you. I wanted to show you. Here's some things, It's kind of like showing a player film. Instead, you saw it right there. Here's what you need to fix. You either dwell on what happened or you learn from what you just saw against Georgia. No one else in the country is going to show you your deficiencies like this year, or at least not like what Georgia did Saturday. No one's going to show you your deficiencies like the way Georgia did on Saturday. Fix them. Fix those problems, or you're probably not going to go bowling unless you get these things fixed. Or you could. It's just Georgia's defense is that elite. L-E-E-T. They are. All the compliments, tip of the cap to the Bulldogs. Learn from your mistakes. Cut those penalties at least in half. Good God. Oh, my God. 10 penalties a game. We got a super chat. The guy's name I cannot pronounce. Liquidixity. It was nice hanging out for a bit. I got to run, or I gotta get ready for work. I will be around sometime. Keep up the good work, Hogs. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you. Georgia would be a top 15 NFL team. FSU just ran Bryles off with Taggart. They won't. Okay, that must be another. That must be something else. Briles needs to go to the Big 12 where his offense works. I mean, it's worked this year. I mean, you just ran into a buzzsaw against Georgia. You've only had one half where you looked that bad this year, and that was against Rice. And that was a lot of mistakes, drop balls, all the penalties I think you had 8 penalties in the first half against Rice. I mean, got to be prepared. Got to be better than that. And they corrected those mistakes. I wouldn't say I'm not ready to run Briles off just yet. I mean, I like what they've done. I like what they've been able to do. He's not perfect. His play calling, his game planning for this game was not there. The execution on the field was not there. Just that simple. And that's a reflection of the coaching staff. If I'm going to sit here and criticize Fountain for what they've done on special teams, I got to do the same thing equally, whether it's Barry Odom, Sam Pittman, or Kendall Briles. And they were not prepared. But at the same time, it's a mixed bag. Those players, the mistakes they were making, the false starts, the drop balls, the things that go wrong, sometimes they just happen, and you have to be able to respond better, more efficiently, more consistently, and they just couldn't do it. Georgia is an NFL football team, and Arkansas was overwhelmed. The light was too big for them. But I mean, I'm just not ready to run Kendall off. But yeah, it's a reflection of not being prepared, clearly, along with the light just being just too big. Is Coach Fountain getting what he's asking for? Better players, more practice time, schematics, and if not, why? And if he's not asking, that's a problem, says Todd McGuire. Oh, okay. She says, I didn't mean it doesn't work here, but it's massively successful when there's not a defense across from you. That's very true. Big 12 is flaming garbage on defense, and our most success on offense has come when we were running the ball. And they couldn't get the run going against Georgia. I don't know why Arkansas didn't try to stretch the field out more by throwing it. Honestly, how many deep balls did they even try against Georgia? I don't know. In third down play calling, you're one of the worst third downs in the SEC. Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe the play calling has just been a little vanilla, a little predictable. Hell, they said it on TV. When you're predictable on offense, you had those guys talking about it on TV about how predictable you were. That didn't come from me. I don't remember which one said it. I don't remember who said it, but one of them said it. I was too busy just shaking my head the whole game, reacting to Twitter. Arkansas will only get better this year. Tip my hat to those guys. Absolutely. That's Go Dogs forever. I got to tell you, I've never seen this many opposing fans in a live stream or come back and comment, but it's been like 90% positive. Been really cool. I mean, I dig it, man. Sometimes our offense backfires through the carburetor. KJ attempted less than 5 passes greater than 10 yards. Yeah, their average completion was what against Georgia, like 4 yards? 5 yards? 5 yards per completion. And a lot of that, too, was just what Georgia game planned. Again, you have to give Georgia credit. They game planned perfect for this game. I think maybe A&M kind of showed them a little bit of how to kind of slow down the Arkansas offense. KJ in the second quarter, that offense wasn't as effective in the second quarter. I think they punted it, three times before the half in the first half. Then they came out in the second half, sputtered a little bit. Maybe A&M kind of highlighted a few things here and there, and Georgia picked up on it and was like, no, we could do better. We could do far better than that. And that's exactly what happened. Don't overreact. It was one game. I'm assuming you're talking to chat. How can you – oh, here we go. Michael Kopesky. How can you not see that our offense is less than vanilla, like great value imitation? I'd have to disagree with that. You look at that opening quarter against A&M. You look at how you handled Texas, who's chock full of talent. I mean, two quality teams. No matter what you think of A&M, we know their defense is good. We know their defense is legitimate. It's just their offense is sputtering out. I mean, they're terrible. Their offense is just not what they want it to be, and they're going to lose more games. I said 8-4. I don't know. They look like 7-5, 6-6, but that doesn't mean their defense is terrible. And KJ moved the ball at will. This offense moved the ball at will against Texas A&M. You go to Texas, it wasn't even a contest. There was no contest. I think, yeah, and maybe that's where the overreact comment was coming from, was responding to Michael's comment. That's an overreaction, Michael. Less than vanilla, so you think they're terrible? You think they're just not a good offense? All right, that's your opinion. I disagree. It's a bad take. What are your thoughts on the defense tightening up in the second and third quarter? Yeah, they responded pretty well. What'd they give up? Was it 13 points in the second half? I think it was. I think it was, 3. They gave up a field goal in the third quarter. They gave up 10 in the fourth. Gave up 31 points in the opening in the final quarter. First and fourth, that's obviously not happened. I don't know if that happened last year. Maybe Alabama and Florida. But Georgia looks pretty well. They just look put together. They just look really put together right now. And that's the other thing about Stetson, too, is like you go back to that what was it, their opening drive, when it looked like you had Stetson Bennett sacked. Had that been JT Daniels on third down, that's a sack or the ball's thrown away, one of the two. And you're off the field and you're forcing a punt. Could have changed at least the momentum of the game. I'm not saying you put up points, but you might have kind of, slowed them down a little bit, but they didn't. He rolled out and scrambled for what he needed and picked up the first. I wonder if they prepared for Stetson, but then again, it's not like he ran a lot. He only ran the ball 3 times, but picked up a huge first down on that third down run. You go back to JT Daniels, that doesn't happen. But there was nobody in spy, nobody outside in the flats, no one defending. Like, how often have you seen that? Only one other time have I seen that. That's when a quarterback ran down the field and scored for, 80 or 70 yards or whatever, Georgia Southern. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know, but I don't feel like – it doesn't seem to me like they prepared for Stetson Bennett very much. If they did, not very much. Georgia is just special this season. It's really just that simple. Georgia is problems for everyone. I agree with that. Hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your truck keys. They're coming in hot. Oh, can you believe that whatever it was, that viral clip? That thing's like 10 years old now. Time flies, man. Stetson needs to transfer for consistent playing time. I'm telling you, man. Former walk-on. Is he not? A Georgia fan, help me out. He's a former walk-on. Speaking of Georgia Southern, they whooped A-State's ass. She didn't say ass. I put that in. I like that. Look at our stats in the SEC on offense. Come on, numbers don't lie. You just got done playing Georgia. Like, what are you talking about? Let Jefferson throw the ball. I agree with that. I agree with that. They need to open up things a little bit more in the passing game. Need to get a little bit more creative on third down. First down is too predictable. It's always a run on first down. It's always a run on first down. It's too predictable. And I agree with that. I've been a skeptic of first and third down play calling all year. I think Arkansas broke Texas A&M. Arkansas woke Texas. That's very well said. Yeah, spring of 2020, Stetson Bennett was fifth-string quarterback. He was. He was a fifth-string quarterback. I remember that, or at least fourth. I remember them talking about him being way back there. Stetson already transferred once to JUCO, and he came back. First and 25, ... run. Yeah. I mean, it's Houston nut. For those of you who are old enough to remember that was the biggest skepticism of Houston, was that he wanted to take over, he wanted to have responsibility with play calling, and it was so freaking predictable on first down. And it feels like more of the same. And again, I like Kendall. I think he's done mostly a good job. Not great. I think he's done mostly a pretty damn good job. Georgia, you ran into a buzzsaw. What you've done all year was not going to work on the road in Athens. Wasn't going to work against that defense. Bennett is a walk-on and never practiced first, second, or third team. Only the freshman. It's insane, man. Did Facebook ever get up running? I'm going to look at that really quick. Did it ever get up? No, still down. They got hacked, man. Anonymous got a hold of them. Uh-oh. They got Zuckerberged. All right, so final takeaways, and we've gone over the numbers. I like I said, I don't think you have. I hope you don't have another performance like this. Although Bama, anything's possible. Bama's legit. There's no doubt in my mind. I have no problem with them being at number 1 in the country. I think they have probably a slightly better offense, not by far. I think their defense is probably from what I've seen, a full step behind Georgia. Just based on what I've watched. Maybe some of you agree, maybe some of you disagree. Georgia just, again, they look like a super well-built team from the ground up. Final takeaway, again, lights were just simply too big for Arkansas, combined with a hostile environment and superior Georgia coaching and talent level. Just that simple. Georgia flat out dominated the trenches. Winning consistently week in out, you have to know how to do it. Arkansas is just not there yet. Bama and Georgia clearly are there. Hogs are drawing close to 10 flags per week on average. That has to be cut in half. Get better in the trenches. Well, we're missing somebody in chat, aren't we? Mr. Elite Defensive Line, he's gone. He's not here talking, but it's funny. He'll come in when Arkansas has a good week after I'll tell you an entire week. Here's where Arkansas's defensive line should have some success. I'll say it all week. Then he comes in on those post-game shows or following Monday shows. Oh, what about that elite defensive line, Ty? Told you. And then games like this, he doesn't show up. But hey, man, just at least show up and be like, all right, own up to it. I was wrong. Like I was wrong on Cincy. I'll admit it. I was wrong about Cincinnati, man. They might be legit or they just beat an incredibly overrated Notre Dame team. Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know, but I'll own up to it. I heard the NCAA is considering allowing Florida to throw a shoe for – I love it. All right, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Oh, we do have a question that I did not read today. That's my bad. Let me ask really quick, and for those of you, again, who are watching this after the fact, what do you think – and, of course, it's not letting me pull up the entire – what do you feel like the Hogs do best on the field? I'm trying to be positive. So I'm not going to read all these in live chat. You're talking about the Cardinals. Oh, if you're going to talk about the Cards, I'm telling you, isn't it great? 17 straight. That was incredible. I don't like that they've lost a couple since, but can't win them all. It's baseball, but yeah, it's great, man. I hope they carry this momentum into the postseason. I hope oh my God, if they win a World Series this year, I'm going to go crazy. Might just do a stream just for Cardinal fans. Probably have at least 10 people in here for that, right? But what do you feel like is their biggest strengths? Turkey just says first. Okay. Pursue the football, says one more 24, a.k.a. gang tackle. Run game, Turkey says. Run blocking from Dante Marine. Hog-wired 08. Their ability to swarm to the ball on defense is impressive. Our biggest strength right now, Big Man Ross says, I would say Barry Odom, but best thing we do on the field is, I would agree, tackling for sure. Hey, Randall Cade has a good point, avoiding turnovers. Again, you're talking about the top 25 turnover difference. Remember, that's how many do you give and how many do you take away, right? They're top 25, and they're not doing a great job of taking the ball away. And I think some of that's because they don't get consistent pressure, from that elite defensive line. They are improved, but they're not elite. I'm sorry. They're nowhere near elite. They're improved, but they're not getting enough consistent pressure. Trey Williams has done a great job. John Ridgway has done a great job. I'd like to see some more guys step up. I'd like to see some more production when they rotate guys in because they try to keep guys fresh. They rotate real heavy. So I'd like to see those guys that rotate in get a little, do a little better. Torrin Carter has had a couple of moments. Nichols does a pretty good job drawing double teams and clogging up the gap. But I want to see them, really, a little bit more productive from those guys. Montiel Soli, who I've not seen on the field a ton this year. But Randall Cade says, again, avoiding turnovers, biggest strength by far. And they are top 25. considering how few takeaways you have on defense. That's been really impressive. Malik Hornsby's got to stop putting the ball on the ground. Broham says it's all about that defense, plain and simple. Plain and simple. Lazoo's Eagle left me a two. I'm not reading this whole thing, Eagle. Come on, man. I told you guys I'm not reading these long ones. Defense. So long story short, second half defense was better against Georgia. I'm not reading that whole thing. Sir Blue Eyes, definitely specialty. Moving on. I don't think they have a strength, to be honest, says Nashay 26. That is like the most pessimistic thing I've ever read in my life. Blue Eyes, you're going to make my shit list, man. I'll read what he said, okay? He goes on to say, no, but seriously, our defense as a whole has played great, so I'd have to say our entire defense is our strength. That's okay. You did better. You did better. Georgia are human hybrid monsters. They were made in a lab, I think, somewhere. They swarm to the ball, says Tusky. Their defense pursuit is some of the best in the country. It is, and it's why their total defense has been pretty impressive this year. If you notice, when Georgia tried to run out in the flats, when they tried to run outside the tackles, they couldn't do it. Arkansas swarm. If that's how your offense is built, like when they play someone where their offense they like to set the outside edge. Good luck against Arkansas. This defense swarms. They're fast. That's why I disagreed with Tebow about speed. Not only is it about knowing where to be, wherever the ball goes, wherever the offense goes, it's not only about knowing where to be, but it's having the speed to get there, and they have it. I'm not saying these guys drop 4.40s. I'm not saying that. But in-game speed, like I think they have it. I'm not comparing them to Georgia or Bama or whoever on defense. But in terms of their team speed, especially at linebacker, their safeties, and another part of it, too, is their ability to read and react. Something Sam Pittman said that Draper didn't have. You guys remember the OU transfer. Draper didn't do that. He didn't have that ability to read and react. He would read, think about it, and then react. It's read, react. And Arkansas's defense does that. And that's a part, in my opinion, that builds up to that team speed. They have it. It's so hard to set the edge against the Hogs. Not saying it's impossible. Not saying that they're going to stop everybody on the outside. But good luck. It's hard. It's hard to do because, like you guys said in chat, like Discord says, they swarm to the ball really well. Let me drop that link for you guys really quick. Then we're going to call it a show. I appreciate you guys being here. I know we had all kinds of problems today. YouTube didn't want to work. Facebook would not work. Well, Discord's changed some things here. What is this? Are you kidding me, man? Come on. Grant temporary membership. What is this? What are you doing? God. Paste. There you go. If you want to join our Discord, there it is. You can tell the defensive players get called out on film by the coaches, keep the effort and the nastiness high. They are aggressive on defense. So, all right. Mad respect to the Georgia fans who've kept it classy. We only had a couple of shitheads on Saturday night, but you guys most of you have been great. I appreciate you guys. To all you fans, to all to supporters of the PTN, appreciate you guys. Sponsors, Patreon supporters. We gained another Patreon yesterday. I think that gets updated this week, so I'll have that list updated for you guys. All right. Wednesday, 11 a.m. I'll see you guys there. Woo Pig, probably 11:01. Let's be real. Probably 11:01. Woo Pig. I'll see you guys then.
At Direct Service